Dubsado can help you manage leads and projects, get contracts signed, get payments on invoices, send client questionnaires, and so much more. If you're wondering what Dubsado can do for your business, this Dubsado walkthrough video is for you. I'll be showing you around this amazing unicorn of a tool, so let's go. Hi, I'm Crystal Clark. I help time-starved entrepreneurs create more productivity and more profit in their businesses using Dubsado so that you can wow your clients and also save time and money in the process. If you want to know more about Dubsado tutorials, productivity tips, and Dubsado form design hacks, subscribe to my YouTube channel right here and hit the bell button so that you get notified the second a new video goes live. Let's go ahead and start our walkthrough right now. Now, first things first, when you log into Dubsado, you're going to see your dashboard. Now, your dashboard here has a ton of amazing treasures on it to start with. So let's talk about everything from top to bottom. First and foremost, when you come into your dashboard, all of the clients that you have in Dubsado and all of the projects that you have in Dubsado are searchable right here in the search bar. So if I want to type in the name of a client, the client's name as a person in my address book would pop up here as a client. And then you can also see any projects associated with that client's name. So it's very easy to find either their record or just their project. And you can have multiple projects under here by client name, which is very nice. If you come on over here to the inbox icon, which is this nice envelope, you'll be able to open up your inbox. Now, this is a test environment for me, so I do not have any emails in here. But if you were to send any emails through Dubsado, any emails that you receive back from the client would show up here for you to be able to look at and reply back to right here in the inbox without having to open up the project at all. If you go on over here to the bell button, you will see a red dot, which is an indicator of a notification. Now, you'll have notifications if a client signs your contract, if a client approves or submits for approval for the proposal, if the client pays an invoice, and many other things. You'll be able to see a notification panel of anything that you need to be in the know about that happened recently based upon client actions. If you click the question mark button here, you'll be able to see any access and quick link right directly to Dubsado's Help Center. You also can access Dubsado's community, which is my favorite place to hang out on Facebook, seriously, because it's not just conversations about how Dubsado works, and you also have the ability to bounce ideas off of other Dubsado users that may also have a similar business or similar business model as you. You also have some release notes here, which I really like to look at a lot because that is details on any new features that Dubsado has recently launched. And of course, you can click contact to contact Dubsado directly, Another one of my favorite places, if you need help, is to just click right down here that has the box and a smile on it, and you can access Dubsado's amazing support team and just creating a new conversation there to ask any questions if you're stuck on anything using their tool, or you can, of course, search for articles associated with any Dubsado features. And then finally, you can schedule a time to have a one-on-one screen share meeting with them, just in case you might be struggling and need a visual tool. That's for all the visual learners out there like me. Now let's click right here, which I skipped over, was gear, the gear icon here, which is where your settings are. You can make changes to your brand settings. And of course, you can also add users, add any integrations or other tools that you use, set up your emails, set up your time zones, and so much more. My favorite thing in Dubsado is the client portal. And here's where you can basically set up your client portal settings. My favorite resource and tool is a client portal, is because you are able to basically have a client log in and see all of their appointments that they've scheduled with you. Go to their project resources, see any PDFs that you've uploaded, or other links maybe to other corresponding resources that you have for the project. They can also edit their own settings and their names and their email addresses if anything's changed. It's kind of like a really great central hub for them to locate invoices to pay and even contracts to review. Everything is in there and it's so amazing to use. That's one of my favorite tools in Dubsado. Now let's go ahead and head back to the dashboard so that we can review some of the other features on the dashboard, which I don't think I could live without, honestly. And in the dashboard here, you'll see that you can set a financial goal. So if you want to say maybe only set a $3,000 goal for yourself for that month, or maybe $100,000 goal for the year, you totally could set that goal and be able to monitor that goal right here on the dashboard. Now, my favorite thing about this is that I can see as invoices are paid by clients through Dubsado. Like I may see if I have a $1,000 invoice paid, then I'll say $1,000 of my $3,000 goal for May has been met, which is such a nice indicator. So you can set goals and monitor those goals every time you log in to Dubsado. Another area here in your dashboard is open invoices. This is the amount in open invoices that have that is a amount based upon the invoices that you sent to clients, but they just have not been paid yet. This revenue indicator area is basically how you're doing now based upon how you did in the last 30 days up until this point. So you can see, am I trending up or down based upon where I was last month at this time. This area here for recent shows any invoices that you've missed payments on, or that clients have missed payments on, that they have a specific due date on them. This is an area where you can click to sign any contracts that the client has signed, but you may need to countersign them so you don't miss those. Of course, you have a area here for approving any workflow actions that you may have assigned to send out in your workflow, but you don't want it to send automatically, and you want to maybe take a peek at it or edit something in an email before it goes out. And then this recent area also houses any announcement for newly launched features in Dubsado. Another one of my favorite areas on the dashboard is the calendar. You can look at your calendar in a weekly view, which is what I really, really like. You can look at it in a monthly view as well. So in this monthly view, you're able to see, all right, I have this full planning project with Jon Snow that starts on the 6th but ends on the 27th. And you're able to see when all of your projects essentially start and stop so that you're not overloading yourself or double booking yourself for an event or a project. You can also see any task that you have on your calendar at any specific day and time so that you know when things are due, and you can look at a glance to know what's coming up or what you should be working on in your business. Next, you also have the overview, which you can see everything, kind of what's coming up, what it is, what it's working on, when you're supposed to work on it, how long it lasts, and of course, you can see a few details of the project right from this overview screen. So you can see that it has an open invoice for $2,000. The contract has been signed by the client. It's an all-day project on the 5th of May, which is just showing you everything in a just very general way without having to open up the project per se to look out the details. If you look, my mouse pointer does turn into a finger pointer, just indicating that you have a link here, so you can click and link directly to the project. And then if we scroll down a little bit further, you'll be able to see that you can look at your financials. So as clients pay invoices and you get income, as you document expenses and things that you spent money on in your business, maybe software or marketing, anything that you spend, Dubsado is tallying how you're trending up or down for income and expenses that week or that month at any given time. And of course, you can change the date ranges here. So you can do, how am I doing from this date range this month versus this date range last month? So you can do both of those there. And then finally, you have the ability to view and add any tasks right here on the dashboard that you need to work on for any jobs or client projects. All right, now let's head on over to the projects area. And if you look here to the left-hand side of the Dubsado dashboard here, you'll have, like, I call it the left-hand menu or the left side menu. You're able to see a lot of the different features and areas that you'll have access to use for your Dubsado projects and client management. So let's jump on into the projects area. In the projects area, you have the ability to view your leads and your jobs in one place. I like this a lot because in some client management tools, you don't get this ability to kind of see everything in one place. And I love that you can do that in Dubsado. So when you jump into Dubsado, you have the ability to see all of your current leads or projects on a list, which I love. So I can see everyone on the list and what they have going on. I can see what I've titled the job. I can see the client's name, what date the project is supposed to start, the invoices that are open, if the contract has been signed, if there's a workflow active on the client, if there's a status that I want to change something to, or of course, I can archive or delete the project or lead. You also have the ability here on the dashboard to manage what Dubsado calls project statuses. Hands down, this is a life-changing and life-saving feature that a lot of other tools don't have, and I'm glad that Dubsado has it. And it has the ability for you to be able to, at a glance, look and create these custom little, I call them cubby holes, these custom little cubby holes that you put clients in so you know how many people you have at a slot at a time, or that you can have quick lists. And by quick lists, I mean, if I have several clients fill out my contact form and they've booked a consult, I know I have two ladies right here, the Stark sisters, that have booked a consult with me and they're just hanging out here until I'm done having the consultation. Or maybe Sansa, I've already sent her a proposal, so I can change her to proposal sent, and it will automatically move her into proposal sent. So now I have two clients that I've sent proposals for, and I'm just kind of hanging out and waiting for them to complete the proposal. And if they don't, I can just say, okay, I got two people to follow up with today. I sent the proposals, and of course, you can send them emails and follow up and everything of that nature. But at a glance, kind of seeing where people are in your process, or maybe Jon Snow wants to wait a few days. So maybe he needs follow-up. So I can kind of move people in these different cubby holes based upon where they are. And you can create statuses or project statuses for where people are. You can create project statuses for leads, and you can also create project statuses for your jobs and projects. So let's say, I want to have all of my wedding planning clients in one cubby hole, or maybe my month of coordination in one cubby hole, or my floral design clients in one little area, so that I can see how many people or how many projects I have going by service at a time. So you can use project statuses in so many different ways, but I will do a full video on that at a later date. Okay. And now, one thing I want to show you before we leave here is tags, which you can do tags. So I can hover over this tag here, and I can assign that tag a name. So I can assign that tag a name by where the client is in my process, or what type of service they're getting with me, so I can see on a whim what that client is getting without having to open up the project. Now, I name my projects by what they're getting dash the client's first name, so I can see that as a glance, but you can also use tags for that as well. As clients get invoices and send them on the project overview area here, you are able to see that the client has not paid this invoice. Once the client does start making payments on the invoice, this will fill up to green to let you know the client has either paid or not paid. And that's, again, one of those features at a glance that you can see without having to open up a client file. Now, if we open up a client file here, you actually open up your full client space and be able to see all of the documentation for this client's project. You're able to name the project as you saw here. You're able to assign that project a start and end date, and you can mark yourself as busy or available if you work on multiple projects at a time in a specific date range. You can add or access a contract, assign those tags that we talked about. So if I have month of coordination and floral design, she could, of course, get both services just so I can see at a glance what she's getting. I can change her proposal or job project status. I can update her information by clicking the pencil icon, activate her client portal, and of course, I can assign locations to the job, add custom information and custom map fields, and I can, of course, assign a team member and even assign where this lead came from. So if I had a lead from Facebook or WeddingWire or whatever, I would be able to document where those leads are coming from so I know where to spend my marketing dollars. You also have the ability to review your inbox. This is any emails that you've sent to that client for this project, and of course, any of their replies to those emails. As long as you send it through Dubsado, you will be able to review the client's responses in Dubsado. You also have the ability to view any invoices that you've sent the clients, any forms, proposals, questionnaires, or lead capture forms that the client has completed or you've sent to that client. You're able to monitor any appointments that the client has booked with you, any workflows attached to their job, any tasks associated with things that you need to complete just for this project, and of course, any notes if you want to add any notes or documentation of any calls that you've had with the client. Just a big space to manage everything for that client. And one of the biggest tips I can give is take notes and use the features because they're very, very powerful and they will save your life. Now, moving on back to our side menu here in the reporting tab, you'll be able to add and review any project sources that you have. So this is where you're able to create sources. Let's say you're marketing on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, WeddingWire. Maybe you have a specific magazine that you market in. Maybe you have the Not Atlanta that you market in specifically and you want to add that as a source. You can search by source or you can even add it as a new source here and assign it a color. And then you can add these sources in here and you can add these sources as a question on your contact form so the client can choose and let you know where they heard about you, and you can have a report of all of those sources, which brings me to project breakdown. If you go into the project breakdown, you're able to see in different time frames and even custom time frames where and how many of your leads and projects came from a specific source. So right now I have 3 leads in here, one from WeddingWire, one from Facebook, and one from Instagram. As clients fill out your contact form or you add projects in here and assign them sources, you'll be able to see where you're getting most of your clients from, and that will also help you to determine where to spend your marketing dollars, which is amazing. You have filters in here too, so you can just decide that you only want to look at 1, 2, or 3, items at a time, or 2 items at a time. You can look at whatever you want to look at any given time. You also have the ability to look at any invoices that have been sent out to clients and get a notation of if they've been paid, if there is a payment plan or payments received from the clients. You're also able to review any transactions in here that you have that are either incoming monies that have been received from clients from invoices that you've sent, or you can create an expense to say, hey, I spent $100 using my credit card on, Facebook advertising. So, and you can assign that to a job if this is an expense. Let's say that you spent specifically on a client. Let's say you purchased candelabras or candles for Sansa Stark's floral design. Then you can say I spent $100 on her floral design on my credit card, and you can assign that expense to the client project that you worked on. Or maybe you had an ad that you ran. You can document your expenses here. You can also document any taxes that you've paid, any tax payments that you've made to your government or your state. And then you have chart of accounts here where you can add any accounts that you want to document. And by chart of accounts, it's kind of like categories of different types of income or different types of expenses. So you could have advertising expenses, software expenses, or you can have income based upon service or a shop that you have or something of that nature. You can even export your profit and loss statements, which are easy to send to your accountant to be able to complete your taxes each year, which is amazing in here. Now, I do want to just interject a little bit to let you know that Dubsado does have a QuickBooks Online integration, so you can connect Dubsado with your QuickBooks account and be able to document the income that you're bringing in from Dubsado on QuickBooks, so everything kind of talks to each other a little bit. So it's so amazing how powerful Dubsado is. And of course, finally, you can access any reports or expenses and get a full breakdown of everything that is coming in and going out money-wise. All right. So let's move on to your calendar. We talked a little bit about the calendar before, but I just want to show you that you can look at this calendar in a month, a week, or a daily view. And then you can also look at any events or appointments that clients have set with you. So I don't have any events in here, but if I had appointments booked with clients, you'd be able to see them on that calendar. Let's jump on over to tasks, which are the bread and butter, one of the breads and butter of Dubsado. It's the peanut butter, and we got some jelly coming up here in a minute. So if you look at the task here, you can see tasks that are just assigned to you. You can see tasks that are assigned to you and all of your team. And then, of course, you can look at your task in a board view. So if you have some boards that you created in here, so like I have a job board for a project that I did with Arya Stark, for example, I can pull up that board, add tasks to it, and of course I can move tasks based upon, are they complete or are they not complete, or where are they in my process. I can move things in a Trello-like fashion, if that makes sense. You can add tasks just like this. You can also delete tasks. You can copy tasks. And then, of course, you can create additional columns if you want. So you can put, under review, if you want to have a review process. And it's really easy to do all of these things. If you open up each of these tasks, you can open them up, create a name, put a due date on them. You can even assign them to a specific user or team member, add files if you want to add a file as a item for your team to review. And then, of course, you can comment on these tasks so that your team members know where you are on this task and what you've done last. Alrighty. And then if we move on to utilities here, you do have the ability to look at your form list. So this is any form that you've sent out to a client, whether it's been completed or not completed by the client. And this is really good because at any point in time, I can say, all right, I sent out this proposal, this many proposals to clients, and I can put sent or completed in a drop down up or down, and it will put all of the no's and all of the yeses together. So I can, again, see who I need to follow up with or look at on a dime. Your address book is basically really great. It's basically like your contacts list in your phone. It's basically all of your clients that you've worked with, or any client that's filled out a contact form, or anyone who's booked a consultation or call or meeting with you through Dubsado Scheduler. Everybody is here, whether they have an active project or not, so that you can just pull up their name, look at everything that they have. So if I want to pull up Sansa, for example, I can add an image of her. I can put all her details for social media. I can update all of her information, upload a custom portal banner for her. I can look at all the emails, all the forms that I've sent, all the projects we've worked on. And you can have 10 projects, all of the projects that you've ever worked on, every note that you've ever added, and any call logs that you've ever done. So it's nice to just have just the client view of everything with all of their different projects than to have to essentially open up each project to look at client information, which is nice. If we head back over to utilities, you also have access to something called the time tracker. And the time tracker is very helpful for anyone who essentially does work by the hour and you want to bill those hours after the work has been done. So I could say I was doing some floral design research, for Sansa. I could choose the job. And then I can say I want it to be $100 an hour. And then I can assign it a category or floral design, whatever category I want it to be. And then I can start my timer. And as I start my timer, Dubsado is letting me know that says, hey, you got some time going here. The timer's going. You see the timer going here. And as I work on this project, I can go away, work on the project, and then come back to Dubsado and stop the timer. And once I stop the timer, Dubsado's automatically going to tally up how much that client owes me based upon the hourly rate I put in and how much time I actually spent on the project. Now, you can click this button to apply it to invoice, and you can see any open time stamps or time frames that you've documented. You can see any time that you've invoiced and placed on the client invoice, or you can see them both. If I apply to invoice, then I'll be able to see both of these line items on the invoiced area, which is awesome. And then finally, let's head on over to templates. Now, I have to say, this is where you're going to kind of live when you first get into Dubsado, because it's the place where you can kind of get everything set up. Between this area and your settings area over here, you're going to be hanging out in these two areas the most. So let's jump on in. Your scheduler is basically a amazing tool for you to be able to send your scheduler or your calendar essentially out to clients so that they can access available times that you have open to book a meeting or a call with you. And these could be in-person meetings, online meetings using Zoom, or phone calls. Basically, you're able to create your own custom meeting type, set your availability, and clients can only book those meetings during those available times on your scheduler. And that eliminates a lot of back and forth emails of when are you available? Oh, I'm only available on Tuesday at this time. And what about Wednesday? Clients will be able to look exactly on your calendar and only book times based upon your availability using the scheduler. And this eliminates you having to spend additional money on having Dubsado and Calendly or Dubsado and Acuity. So it is essentially eliminating an expense from your expenses that you have to pay each month, which is a hallelujah for all of us. If you go on over to forms, you are able to use this space to basically create contracts, sub-agreements, questionnaires, proposals, and lead capture forms. And lead capture forms are just basically another fancy way of saying a contact form on your website. So anytime a client fills out a contact form on your website, this is what a lead capture form is. And you can create your lead capture form here in Dubsado and embed it to a page on your website very, very easily. You can create proposals to send for clients. And one of my favorite, hands down, client management task that you can create in Dubsado is sending a proposal, contract, and invoice in one swoop so the client can complete all 3 tasks on one screen without you having to send 10 emails to send each item one by one. And I gotta tell you, I probably say that every feature in Dubsado is my favorite because Dubsado is my favorite. So if I say favorite a lot, I just love Dubsado that much. You can also go into canned emails, and this is where you can create any canned responses or what you would say as an email template to send to clients if you had an email that you send over and over and over again. It's basically like, I don't want to have to type that in every single time I send that to a client, where you can create a canned email for that. And basically, you write in your email and you create an email template so that you can send it in a flash. So basically, you just pull up a client a file or a client space for a project, click a canned email icon and essentially add that email right in a flash and send it to a client in no time without having to type that same information over and over. If you find yourself typing a lot of emails over and over every time you get a new lead, or every time you need to send a proposal, or every time you need to get a questionnaire information from clients and send those questionnaires out, canned emails will save your life. If we move on to packages, packages is a place where you can create all of the services that you offer as unique packages so that you can easily and quickly add them to proposals and invoices in a flash. It is taking the time from you to have to make, or take hours and hours to create these custom proposals in a PDF or custom proposals in Canva or in a Word document. You're able to just add all your packages in here and then quickly add them to proposals and invoices in no time. Lifesaver. Finally, let's go on over here and talk about payment schedules. And payment schedules are basically all about creating a payment plan. It's essentially what that is. A payment plan that you can say, hey, when a client signs my contract, I want them to pay me a deposit or 50% down now when they sign the contract and they book officially, and then maybe the other 50% or remaining amount later over a few payments over time. You can create a custom payment plan in Dubsado that you can attach to proposals and invoices so that clients can pay on a schedule without you manually or having to remember when those payments are due. And the cool thing about it is, on these payment schedules, you can assign an email that goes out to remind the client based upon the upcoming due dates of when the next payment is due. And then last but not least, the best place of them all is the Dubsado workflow area. This is the area where you are able to add workflows and create these custom client experiences and lists of tasks that you need to complete with every client as you complete your work. So if you have the same, if you're a wedding planner and you have the same wedding planning process, you don't have to manually remember what tasks are and when you're supposed to do them. You can set them up as a streamlined set of tasks in a workflow that has built-in automation, so you can kind of almost have your own superhero sidekick or a kick butt assistant to help you automatically do things based upon where you are in the process, be that sending an email to a client or sending a proposal automatically when the consultation is over, things of that nature, so that everything is in this systemized and streamlined to-do process that either are tasks that you do manually or tasks that you do and Dubsado does automatically for you. It's basically like having a virtual assistant without having to pay that fee of a VA each month. It's very, very helpful. Well, that is the quick Dubsado walkthrough for beginners. For help with your Dubsado form design or your Dubsado workflows, head on over to crystalclarkcreative.com so I can help you out. Don't forget to subscribe for more upcoming videos here on my YouTube channel. See you next time. Bye.